Reverse mentoring, basically, I just wanted to let everybody know before we get started that this is an interactive session, so I'm thankful that you all sat up front. Y'all in the back, you might want to come up because, I'm hard of hearing, but it's okay. I just want to give you a little bit of a backstory. I grew up at my CVB. I started there when I was 26 years old. I used to be the youngest person on staff. That was so much fun, I was the snotty-nosed kid that had all these big ideas, and I thought, this is super easy. Anybody can do this. What's wrong with you? Why can't you keep up? And, a few people looked at me kind of funny, and, I'm just used to that, so it didn't even faze me. But let's just go pretend that, we're going through the dictionary here. So what's your definition of clicking? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Figures. Okay, so let's define generation gap. Here's the basic definition of what a generation gap is, but more importantly, it's not just what's on the screen, but it's more of a disconnect. So, we have different ideas as millennials, we have different ideas as Gen Xers, we have different ideas as millennials. Boomers. But, it's just basically that we've learned things differently and we're doing things differently amongst the generations. We're all in marketing, and we all know generations. We've talked about the different generations until we're blue in the face. We know how to reach the different generations. We know how to sell to them, but do we know how to actually define? Let's go again and define our generations. So what's a baby boomer? Basically, this is someone who was born after World War II. Maybe they're self-indulgent, maybe they believe in some relationship building. What are some characteristics that you would call out to characterize a baby boomer? Anyone? Extremely intelligent. Any others? They're well-traveled, they like to be pampered. Anything? You guys, come on. All right, so anyway, recognition and praise, they like that. And what about our millennials? How can we describe some millennials? I know I see a few in here. But what they do what they want to do, they want to make a difference. What about you, Rodney? Intelligent. Oh, see what's going on back there? They're tech savvy. They like to learn and grow. They have a good balance between the friends and family and work. Any others? They like to experience things. They like to travel as well, right? And they like to feel appreciated and valued, maybe? Exactly. So what about Gen Xers? This is my favorite. Slackers, exactly. Now, and didn't we hear something about millennials are being called slackers? We were the original slackers. Thank you very much. We're independent. We were the latchkey generation. I got off the bus and I walked home. I knew how to make macaroni and cheese before microwaves even existed. We're self-reliant. We reject the rules from time to time. We like to have fun. We can multitask. We know that we can work anywhere, just like our millennial groups. And we may be even a little bit selfish, but that's okay. So who am I? I kind of gave you a little bit of an indication of who I am. I'm self-indulgent. I believe in relationship building. I know how to use a telephone. I can actually talk on it. I'm well-traveled. I love to be pampered. Fiercely independent. Of course, I'm resourceful, the latchkey generation. I'm direct. Some might say too direct sometimes. I enjoy having fun. And, I want what I want when I want it. I have that click, add to cart, go open the door, waiting for my package to be there. Definitely tech savvy. I love to to grow and to learn new things. And I respond faster to an email or a text than I would a voicemail. Don't leave me a voicemail. I'm not calling you back. And I like to feel appreciated. And did I mention that I like to have fun? Maybe that's the slacker in me. You know, I just want to slack and have some fun. So yeah, I'm a classic yet versatile cocktail. You know, absolute Gen Xer with a boomer liqueur and a splash of millennial. So how about you? Who are you? You're Julie. So are you Gen Xer? Or are you identifying with any of these things that I've said today? You're a millennial. So you've identified with some of the things that I've said already? Yeah? Any of my Gen Xers? Yeah? Are you guys identifying with any of the stuff that I've gone over so far? How about my boomers? I know we've got some intelligent ones, so you can relate to that, huh? You're hearing yourself here? All right. So perhaps that you're a cocktail too. We have some people that have a little bit of all the characteristics. So this could be considered a big cocktail party right now. I like that. I think my antibiotics will be out of my system by tonight, so maybe I can have some cocktails too. All right, so today's session is free. You know, now that we know who we are and we know a little bit about our characteristics and our different generations, you know, we can acknowledge these generations and we can acknowledge our differences and we can learn how to pull it all together and work together. But, you know, it's not really our generations who define us. It's more of our experiences that define us, and that's who makes us, or that's what makes us who we are. So when preparing for this session, I went out and found a video, and it's a promotional video for the different generations in the workplace. So I thought I'd just go ahead and play that. It's a quick 2 minutes.
Millennial,
Gen X,
Boomer, Traditionalist.
It's like my kid, if they forget the phone, it's like they're gonna die.
My phone doesn't leave like a 6-inch radius from me.
They're like, oh, these kids with their tech gadgets, you know, and all we have is newspapers and abacus.
he just showed us the different generations because he couldn't remember.
That is definitely my generation. I like that.
I prefer a quick, right to the point answer, no back and forth email. I have a hard time adapting to sending emails. So sometimes my bosses get a little frustrated, but I'm a millennial. I check social media probably like 50 or 60 times a day.
I mean, that's pretty serious, but yes, I would.
The ones that are in Gen X and then the baby boomers, they're a little bit more, don't want to be in the spotlight, where millennials like to be praised and they like that constant feedback.
I don't know about like not reading it entirely, but like definitely like skimming.
Skimming it, agree.
You're saying I wasted 4 hours?
Multiple people, multiple generations looking at the same problem.
That's 4 different answers that may answer the same question, but in a different style.
Now you have so many new things to learn, like let's move on to the next thing.
It gave me a lot of thought into the different generations that work here. I mean, we need each other.
Okay, so sorry about the technical difficulties there. It worked the first time we played it. So let's talk about some of the issues that we have at work, some of our different generations. Like, so you're my millennial. Sorry, you're in the front row. But what are some of the issues that you have at your office? Communication. So communication amongst the different generations or just within the different departments? Both. Okay. Any other issues that we have at work? Lost in translation, yeah, between the different generations. What about feedback from the boss? Do you get enough feedback? Millennials? Shaking, okay, shaking her head. No one recognizes what he's doing. Okay, and what about, maybe you get excited about social media and your digital programs, and maybe you can't get your coworkers to get excited about it either. Is that an issue? Yeah, I think that's a universal issue. Or maybe you run 9,022 reports and nobody in your office gets those reports. Or maybe your boss doesn't even understand the reports that you're generating from time to time. What about our boomers? What are some of the issues that you have at work? You're in the third row. Good deal. And what about when it comes time to strategize or something, or have these meetings? Or do you find that our boomers are wanting to have all these meetings and our millennials are just saying, hey, why can't we do a Google Hangout or Skype, or just, let's just email and let's just strategize this via email? Or, like you're saying, sometimes we don't understand. I'm trying to be a millennial. I'm sorry, I'm a Gen Xer, I know. But there's that mix-up on what is ROI. Why do I have to put an ROI on everything? Sometimes our boomers tend to be the bosses. They don't necessarily know what the hell the digital team is up to. They go off, they turn off the lights. They don't want any lights on in the room. They want to be in the dark. And, you hear them laughing, you hear them having a good time. They're doing stuff. But what really is going on in there? So, a lot of times when we're trying to figure out what's going on, we're having a lot of time, a lot of fun. We tend to forget about our budgets and our reporting. And, it's 2015 right now, almost 2016. So show of hands, how many people have dedicated budget to digital by now? I'm hoping everybody. Okay, good. Good answer. We have to pay for all of our web design, all of our hosting, things, people don't even really associate anymore. They're all about marketing. You have to do the site speed optimization. You have to, the stuff that they were talking yesterday about, the hygiene. You have to make sure that your website is working properly, that everything is flowing. You have SEO. You have to pay for photography. You have to pay for content development, pay-per-click, your native advertising campaigns. You bring that back into it, and it's the whole realm. And then, of course, if you're a one-man team, how do you take care of all this? You have to budget your time as well. And, a lot of times we don't have time to do everything. Like that lady says, and I wanted to put the slide in, but I couldn't find a free, unlicensed picture. But, ain't nobody got time for that. There's just way too much that we have to take care of. We also have our social time that takes a lot. We were just hearing from Sean talking about how much time he spends on Instagram looking for photos and reaching out to the Instagrammers if he can repost those photos on his site. And he was saying, he is dedicating about an hour or so, maybe 2 hours or more every single day. So, when you're factoring that in, and then with everything else that you have going on, how do you do it? So a couple years back, I didn't have to put my social media efforts into my budget. But as our audiences grow and all of the digital marketing grows, it's now one of those things that I have to put a different line item. So for our budget, we've got internet production. We have all of our email marketing. We use website development that I just went over, maintenance, repairs, the blog management, the hosting, the content development, and then of course now social media is called out on its very own. I outsource all of my social media, so I'm not actually doing any of the posting. We have a team, Global Marketing Solutions, that's right there in our hometown, and they take care of all of it, and they're amazing at it. And I don't think that we would be as successful with our efforts if it wasn't for them, because they're really out there and they're innovative and they're doing a lot of the research and spending a lot of the time that I don't have to get out there and do it. But that's one of those things that we had to start putting the budget to it. You know, it's not magic. It takes time and it takes money to do all this. So, you know, your team, you need money. You need money for your content. You need money for your photography. You need money for your blogger outreach. You need money to run your contests, to do your WooBox renewals or whatever software that you're using for your contests. You also have to have money for your event coverage. So, you know, if you have an event in town and it's a huge event and you want to get people there and get them involved, we now have feet on the street. So our social team will go to the events and we'll set up a tent screen so that there's a live feed of all the postings that are going on for the event. And it's really exciting, especially for our culinary events, because we're teaching people at the event how to take pictures of their food and how to use a hashtag and how to actually post it. And it's just like, you know, for my boomers and my millennials, remember when you could call the radio station and you heard your name on the radio station, how cool that was? That's how people are responding when they get to see their pictures and their tweets show up on the tent screen right there at the event. So that's been a lot of fun. But, you know, again, like I was saying earlier, it takes time. And if you're responsible for changing the printer cartridge and you're taking care of all this and you're doing all the digital media, you know, you really got to work through it. So reporting. This is what I was talking about earlier, 9,022 reports. So what all are you reporting? You know, we've got our sessions by device, our demographics, our blog sessions, the conversions, clicks, and now we've started working with arrivalists. So now we're also tracking arrivals to the destination. You know, we've got our vacation guide orders. That was a change for me a few years back. The goal wasn't to get people to order vacation guides. It was to have enough content on the website so that I didn't have to mail a vacation guide, a 96-page book out. But now, all of a sudden, new boss, new ideas. So I'm mailing out vacation guides like you wouldn't believe. We also have our email reports, the open rates, the click rates, your new visits versus returning visits. Used to be that nobody believed that the returning visits were worth anything because, you know, how can we get them to show up? Do we know, are they being inspired for the first time or have they been interested in us before? But it turns out that our returning visitors are spending more time on the site and they're actually using the mobile site to come back and to look at our restaurants and look at our attractions, look at our events and get that information. So what are some of these reports pretty much the same stuff you all are reporting on every month, or do you have something different that you report on? Anyone? Eddie? You know, so with all these reports, what are you doing with them? Are you sharing them with your coworkers? Are you sharing them with your boss? Do you share them with anybody in the community? You know, so it's one of those things. So what does all this have to do with the actual generation gap that we were talking about a minute ago? You know, as we heard in the video and tried to see, you know, we all look at things differently, especially the numbers. You know, we can use the numbers to tell any story that we want. You know, the number, one question can generate multiple questions. I mean, one set of numbers can generate multiple questions, or one set of numbers can answer multiple questions. So it's just how it's phrased and how it's put over there. So I was trying to work on something that would help us all remember how we can work with the different generations and the different people within our companies. And so I came up with this cool little thing called straddle. And my husband raised an eyebrow at me when I said that. Honey, we're going to straddle reports. And he's like, I don't know if I would use that word. But anyway, I started thinking, let's use straddle like stock options and get our mind out of the gutter. So for straddle, for S, you know, schedule a few meetings. Talk to your coworkers, talk to your boss, see what numbers are important to them. What are they looking at? Are they saying, okay, your email subscribers, let's grow this number. Website traffic, let's grow this number. What about open rates or like I said, return visits, vacation guides? Run these reports and find out, you know, analyze the numbers. Does the data answer the questions that your bosses are generating or that your coworkers are generating? You know, are you coming up with any specific questions? Can you make these reports pretty? That goes a long way. Tables and charts, tables and graphs, but pie charts, everybody loves pie charts. Everybody loves trending lines. Those are always the best. You want the report so that it's easy to read, because the last thing you want to do is to talk over people or to talk under them. So you want to make sure that they're understanding the data that you're providing to them. And again, with that data, if you're spending money, be sure that your reports can answer how that money was spent, because that's very important. They want to see that. So determine the answers, then take that report and discuss it with the coworkers, discuss it with the bosses, make sure, and then let them digest it. Leave the report with them and just let them look at it for a while, because chances are they're probably not going to ask too many questions if they don't necessarily get it, but it's your job to go through these reports to make sure that they can understand the reports that you're sharing. And then you want to come back and you want to evaluate the next steps, and then you can find out what do you need to do next to make this grow, to work. We heard from Leah earlier today when she was talking about, do screenshots. So when people are responding to what you're posting or they got comments, share that. Make a screenshot of it, include it in your reports, because this is information that people are actually engaging with you, and they can see it in real time that, Susie from North Shore decided that she wanted to come over here and look at the beach, and she wanted to tell you how much she loves the beach. You want to also think about the different reports that you could share with your coworkers. Maybe a campaign debrief. So you've got this cool campaign coming up, and you want to show people how many times you're posting, how many people are engaging with it, how often that content is being consumed, and what kind of content is most popular. So are they responding more to the videos? Are they responding more to the photos? These are easy reports, and you can put it in a format that's pretty so that they can understand. They'll see where your time is going, and they'll also be able to understand the reports a little bit better. If you have some goal-setting reports, our bosses love the goal setting. If we can say, we're going to increase our newsletter subscription by 15% this year, and if you're able to show that, that's awesome, because then they're actually going to see, hey, you do have a goal. You can actually take steps to reach that goal. And so then once you have your different stakeholders on board, we can talk about the mentoring, and we can talk about ways that you can share this information with them, ways that you're mentoring with them. And of course, understand this is a two-way street. So for our millennials in the room, don't be afraid of your bosses. They hired you for a reason. You've got talent, you've got creativity. They want to keep you. They want to shape you. They want you to stick around. But then for our boomers in the audience and our Gen Xers that are the bosses, this is a two-way street. So you have as much to learn as you have to teach, and just keep that in mind. So once you're getting your staff into that position, you can invite them to attend the different meetings, invite them to the board meeting, invite them to present, introduce that person and introduce their skill. So it's not just, this is Shelley, she does digital. Talk a little bit more about the passion behind it. Give them credit for things that they're doing, or even empowering. I had a boss a few years back that gave us mistake cards, and we got 5 get one really big mistake free card, and then 1 really, really big mistake free. And so the idea behind that was, if you don't make any mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. And it was a super awesome place for me to be as the Gen Xer. Remember, I was the kid growing up at the CVB. So it was a great opportunity for me to feel like I had the freedom to try new things, and I had a boss who had my back. Even if something just totally failed, I knew that I wasn't going to get fired. I knew that I wasn't going to get in trouble, because he was going to take the flak for me. And that really makes a big difference. For our millennials, when your boss is empowering you and giving you credit, and you're out that board meeting or you're out in front of the community, it's a great opportunity for you to share that credit as well. So, I was meeting with my boss, and they told me that this report was really beneficial to you. So here's how we work together to present this information to make it worthwhile. Some other opportunities, in many cases, it's going to be your boss that's going to deliver that report to the board. It's going to be the boss, but you still have that opportunity. Maybe you can tag team. You're up on stage at the same time, and you're able to give the report. It's the different generations that can come together and they can work on it. One thing that we started doing this year is in January, February, March, our communications department has that opportunity to go before the board and present an annual report, basically detailing everything that we've done. And it gives us that opportunity to get more on a one-on-one level with the board, so they have an opportunity to know us. So if they see us out on the street, they're like, oh, I know who you are. You are Shelley. You do all the digital marketing at the CVB. Great job you did on that one campaign. That was totally cool. Okay, so that's wishful thinking. But it could happen. There's that great relationship building there, so that they're seeing that we're all human and that we're all working in this destination together. We all have the same goals. We also think it's important that we present to our community. So every year we have our annual tourism summit, and it's important at that time that the digital marketing efforts don't just get lumped into the annual report, that's fit on a little postcard, or you send out a PDF to all your stakeholders in the destination. It's an opportunity for you to get out there and for you to present in front of your lodging partners what exactly you're doing to drive traffic through your website out to them. Let them see firsthand, yeah, you have all this traffic, but look at all these exit clicks that you're giving out to your partners. Talk to your restaurant partners. You can give them the same reports, and you can tailor it so that they understand, hey, that culinary campaign, that Eat Your Way to the Beach campaign that we did, we're driving people into your restaurants. We're taking pictures of your food, and we're getting people interested in coming in there. So partner with us. Use our coasters, use our table tents, use our hashtags, and it's a great way for them to then feel involved with that campaign, and so they can now say, okay, yeah, hashtag GSOB, Eat Your Way. They know that their food is going to be included in this campaign. We do a social voting so that all of our fans can decide which of their restaurants are their favorite restaurants. We have the Bushwhacker Trail, we have the Oyster Trail, we have the Fried Crab Claw Trail. It's just a different way for people to get involved and for the restaurants to get involved. I get excited about the food one. Sorry, I went on a little long about that. We also do a marketing square table, and we started calling it a square table just because our conference room table is square, and we didn't want it to be confused with typical round tables. But it was a great opportunity so that we could have the marketing decision makers in the destination come into our location and hear the different research, hear the different reports, hear about the different sweepstakes and the different co-ops that we have going on. But it was also another opportunity for mentoring, if you will, because we're explaining these reports in a way that they could understand it, and then they have that opportunity in a smaller setting to be able to answer or ask questions. I already went over the annual tourism summit. Like I said, that's the big picture. That's the big meeting. We also have our state tourism director come down and speak to us at that time to talk about what the state is doing to help support tourism in our destination. And, it's always a good idea, if you want people to attend, offer free lunch, and they will be there. And then one of my other favorite events is the Digital Marketing Summit. And this is something that I put together every 2 years, working with all of my digital vendors. And I get this to be a sponsored event. It's a full day affair where I have, speakers talking about everything from email design, responsive design, to SEO, to native, to anything and everything, video, Instagram. And this year we're also going to have a half-day Google Analytics boot camp. So that's another way that we're doing some of this reverse mentoring, because we're getting the community to come in and actually learn. From our Digital Marketing Summit, we realized after doing some surveys that we had a lot of folks that they were up here with their digital marketing efforts. And then we had a lot of our mom and pops and wedding chapels that were down here that they didn't even have email. They still wanted us to fax them the information. And it was a great opportunity for us to realize, okay, we have a huge disparity here. We need to put together another program to get people more involved. And so from that, we put together our social media university. And we had SMU 101, which was basically the essentials and just talking to people about how to create a page and how to set it up and how to make posts and how to get fans, and then also ways that they could then look at the reports. And we did the 201 class, and that goes the next step further. But we're covering all the different channels so that they have an opportunity to see what's out there, what's available, and how they can bring that into their business and how they can make it work. This year, for the first time, we did a Facebook boot camp. And I was really kind of concerned that I didn't have very many people signing up for it. And we released the information that it was going to be set up, and we actually charged money for this because we felt like if we just offered it for free, even if we provide lunch, we weren't going to get that commitment. So if we put a charge on it, then they're going to associate a value with that, and they're actually going to put that money forward and then commit to it. And it worked. You know, we charged $99 for the boot camp, and then $60 for the 4-week classes of the SMU. But it was a great opportunity for them to get out there and them to get involved. You know, we have a fan-guided blogger trip that we do a couple times a year. And when we first introduced this to our industry partners, like, yeah, fan guide, what the hell are they talking about now? But it was a great opportunity because after they had been taking the social media university classes, they knew to follow us, they knew how to participate, they knew how to recommend places that our bloggers would go while they were in town. So it made them more comfortable about tagging themselves and, hey, come to my restaurant, hey, come to my attraction. And, you know, 2 years ago, there's no way we could have gotten them to participate in our blogger fan-guided trip. So it was just a great opportunity. You know, you think about mentoring and you think it's just one-on-one. You know, you often forget that there's an opportunity that you have a whole destination worth of people that are ripe for mentoring. You know, you look at them and you think, you know, we can get you in here, we can have these sessions. You know, you might have an extranet, you're teaching them how to use your extranet, how to look at the reports. Find out what's important to them. Make sure the reports that you're providing to them are useful. You know, it's great that we have so many visitors to our website every month, but if they're not going through our site and coming out to your website, are they really that good? You know, you want that sale. I don't have anything to sell. Y'all, the industry partners are the ones that have the sale to close. And so it's important that they understand once that traffic gets to them what to do with it. So, anybody in here mentoring anybody in your community or in your office, or maybe somebody's working with you already? We've got a few back here. Tell me some examples. Yeah, the Gen X, you know, they all often make fun of us that we're the forgotten generation in the middle, but yet we're all the translation artists because we're making sense of what's going on. A lot of us are middle management, some are the executive level, but you know, I have a couple people that I work with, and, you know, they don't talk a whole lot. They're brilliant. They want to be left alone, and they want to do their thing, but there's no way they want to get up and talk to a group. So, you know, it's been one of those things that I've been kind of helping to mold her and to shape her and to get her to present. I gave her a topic that she felt totally comfortable talking about, the most boring thing in the world, ad hoc reporting from our old database system. And she gave a presentation on that, and it was a way for her to come out of her shell because she knew this table talked to that table, and if this field is called that field. And, you know, all the people in the room who were interested in the ad hoc reporting at that time, they were like, oh, okay, I get it. But if I were to try to get her to talk about marketing or, you know, the fun, exciting stuff, she's not so much into that side of the house. You know, she wants to do the quiet reporting side of things. You remember that, don't you, Paul, when April spoke to everybody? So, you know, just remember that there's, like I was saying earlier, I grew up at my CVB. I started out as the kid. Now I'm the translation artist, and, you know, it's kind of fun. I like to call myself a geek. I even bought my boss a shirt so that he could be a geek, my CEO. You know, he's this great big football player guy from the South, and it's kind of fun to get him to try to refer to him, and I said try to refer to himself as a geek. He's a wannabe. There's potential here. I can see it happening. But, we never get bored with what we're doing. We are the geeks, after all, and we're the ones that get to have the most fun, in my opinion. And since I'm a Gen X, that's the only opinion that really matters. So, but really, so we've had some examples of some mentoring. Do we have any questions? Because really, that was basically what I wanted to go over today.